Thank you for joining us today. My name is Mike Cantone, and I'm a candidate for Mayor of Orlando. Today we are at the steps of City Hall to raise serious questions about our entrenched incumbent mayor, Buddy Dyer. It has become clear that Mayor Dyer is up to his old tricks to buy the election in Orlando instead of earning the trust and votes of the people. So let's briefly outline what is happening in Orlando right now. Mayor Dyer has formed a PAC to help his election. His PAC is called Moving Orlando Forward. The only expenditures to date are on a book of checks, a lawyer, and making contributions to the Florida Democratic Party. His 1% corporate pals and some individuals in the business industry, including Disney and Mears, have given the PAC over $125,000. In fact, there are even numerous overlaps in the donors contributing to Buddy Dyer's re-election campaign and Moving Orlando Forward that I encourage the media to look further into, including James Pugh, John Holloway, Broad and Cassell, and many others, including a $10,000 contribution by Morgan & Morgan. In fact, you simply have to look at the number of excess contributions that have been returned by Mayor Dyer's campaign to show you just what kind of game these donors play. They're used to paying for access. Moving Orlando Forward has now paid out over $42,000 to the Florida Democratic Party for unknown purposes. At the same time, the Florida Democratic Party has now paid out nearly $45,000 directly to Buddy Dyer's election campaign as in-kind contributions for staff. The Florida Democratic Party is effectively serving as a middleman, a money changer in a laundering process that is hurting the democratic process here in Orlando. The main objective is for Buddy Dyer to buy this election. One of the first things I learned when I moved to Orlando was that the mayor was arrested for voter fraud. My friend said, "Welcome to Florida, where democracy comes to die." Very discouraging words, but perhaps they planted the seeds that are now growing throughout this city and that have encouraged our bold and progressive campaign for a new Orlando. While the actions of the mayor may be legal by the letter of the law, they erode public trust, therefore violating the intent of the law. And it hurts and jeopardizes our democratic process. That is why we must look at the entire individual of Mayor Dyer and his long history of abuse and manipulating the law for his benefit. The mayor's behavior and actions throughout this campaign have all been a charade. Even last night's attempted fundraiser to raise money from the progressive community was a charade because compared to the tens of thousands of dollars being given by corporate interest, the $10,000 that might have been raised last night is simply a drop in the bucket. It is clear who Mayor Dyer really works for. That's why Dyer still won't sign a 4-year pledge to serve the people of Orlando if he's reelected in April. We know Mayor Dyer was indicted for stealing votes and absentee ballot fraud when he was first elected mayor. The mayor literally paid for votes in the minority communities, taking advantage of the people he sought to represent instead of choosing to earn their trust and their votes. And as the mayor selectively chooses who to arrest and which city ordinances to enforce, it's fitting to remind the people of Orlando of our own mayor's checkered past. Because when the election laws changed this past year, Mayor Dyer realized he could no longer steal an election, he would have to buy it. The ones who are left behind in Orlando when big money like this takes over these campaigns are the poor and the needy. In fact, just yesterday as I was driving down Colonial, I saw a woman crossing the sidewalk. She was in her 40s and obviously homeless. But when you looked at her face, you saw an additional 20 years of aging based on the hardships she has faced and lived through. What I realized as that woman crossed the street was that she is symbolic of the people who are forgotten, pushed aside and left out of this debate. And despite her triumph of surviving on her own and on the streets, her community still ignores her. And at the end of the day, it's people like that who will simply end up dying in the alleys or in the shadows that we never hear of. Those are the people who no longer have a voice in Orlando, and I'm here to say today, they will have a voice in this campaign. Together on April 3rd, we can offer the voice of hope and inspiration for our entire city. It's time to put the people first. On April 3rd, please take that step and make sure you vote. United we stand, divided we fall. Thank you.